Hello and welcome to Sportifon. Sydney 2000 was the 27th Olympiad Games that ran from September 15th to October 1st. 11,000 athletes from 199 competing nations came together in unity to celebrate a moment of time and forget the archaic world.
This Millennium Beginning project was 7 years in the making. It was thought to be a disaster, with the idea of the chosen location Sydney becoming cluttered with human traffic. Australia made sure disasters were prevented from the game. It led to a super successful production. 5.7 million tickets were sold, with less than 400,000 domestic visitors and 110,000 international. Not to forget the visitors broadcasting via television. 4 billion people watched it via the TV alone, with Australia having 10 million viewers for just the opening and closing ceremonies, and also nearly 9 million watching Cathy Freeman gain gold. This was the game to boost tourism. It also led to great opportunities for locals too. Both seniors and uni students all got to play a part in the Olympic system. The opening ceremony itself was an optimistic spectacle. 110,000 packed the stage and featured a tremendous story. The outreach of Aboriginal spirituality with the awakening, North and South Korea walking together in unison, the story of Australia's evolution, the stereotypical references, the Australian performances from Human Nature, John Farnham, Vanessa Amorosi, and Olivia Newton-John. It told a 5-hour story and managed to keep everyone engaged. What came next were the games themselves. People were all littered around to spectate the sprints, the equestrian adventures, and volleyball at the beach.
I could go into the specific statistics of who won what via the souvenir book, but I'm going to let the local post office tell me who did.
Here's one of the first digital stamps to be ever released. Originally, lithographic stamps were ideal for your package, so when these came out, they were cherished as a part of history.
With the rage and buzz of the Olympic Games, what better way to celebrate than capitalism? Merchandising, where the real money from the Olympic Games were made.
Before we get into the merchandise, I thought it'd be good to introduce the mascots for not just the Olympic Games, but the Paralympics too. These characters might look familiar, especially if you ordered a lot of McDonald's Happy Meals in that time. Here we have Sid the Platypus, who represents Sydney and the environment of Australia's energy. He has a simple colour tone with a blue beak and dark orange coat of fur. Ollie the Kookaburra represents the Olympic Games and its spirit. Ollie embraces the colours of the other mascots and is the most detailed out of them all. Millie the Echidna represents the millennium and its future. Millie is a pure yellow tone and is easily recognisable. And finally, there's Lizzie the Lizard, who represents the strength and determination of the Paralympic athletes. A lizard coloured in green and gold, showcasing Australia's country and shape. All these designs were made by Matthew Hatton and Joseph Scaris. Probably butchered the name, but they did incredible work making memorable icons. They are expressively colourful characters who made a mark for Sydney 2000's overall advertising. It was ranged towards the family. The mascots were placed on badges, pins, plushes, plastic figurines, became clip-ons for your jackets, and even a passport. Don't worry, it's not a legitimate one. The passport contains bios about each character and includes coins within them. Beyond the mascots, the merchandise keeps on going. They released multiple sets of cups, mugs and glassware, some representing the mascots but mainly showcasing the iconic logo. So when your drink is all gone, you can refill and reflect on the games that you had the joy of participating in. Of course, there would be shirts and caps. Some were simple with the logo and an easygoing black background. Then you had this ocean blue aesthetic. Socks were also a factor, all in green and gold colours to represent Australia, and even people in the audience at the opening ceremony used them as sock puppets. Very interesting. And you can't forget about the Barbie dolls. Yes, even Barbie took to the Olympic Games that year. I've only got a few items on me because I'm trying to save, but hey, it's cool to at least have some in my collection. I've mentioned a few so far that I own, so here are the rest. Starting with the first item in my collection being Scrabble. Now, it's not a game changer per chance, it's mainly a glorified decal for the special moment, but it is very pleasing, especially with many shades of blue and the colour of the letter tiles. It has the symbols for every single sport and at least has some effort put into it. I'd say to make this Scrabble session more invigorating, you'd probably use keywords from the sports and events from Sydney 2000 itself. The opening ceremony tape and CD. If you missed out on the opening ceremony and didn't record it on your VCR, you could purchase this behemoth of a tape compilation. It captures the whole event from beginning to end with 2 tapes, all in pristine quality as if it was being broadcast on television. There is a large wait as ads take nearly 10 minutes to pass by, but it's still a nice box to keep for memory's sake. And not to forget this limited edition of the opening ceremony's music. It has a decent case with an engraved badge.
I do have other items in my merch box, but to talk about the last piece, I'm going to take it over to Game & James to talk about Sydney 2000 on the PlayStation 1. Take it away, James! Hey everyone, Game & James here, and right here is the official video game for the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games on the PlayStation 1. It also released on the Dreamcast and PC. It was developed by Attention to Detail and also published by Eidos. So let's get right into it.
There's surprisingly a fair amount to unpack in terms of gameplay and production value. I firstly want to praise the soundtrack. It's energetic and soothing all at once. The main theme alone has a bouncy trance style, meshed with didgeridoos and acoustic guitar. It attempts to pump the viewer as the intro implements CGI models and live moments from the games, capturing the essence of the sporting event. In terms of different modes, there's different variety for the same obstacles. You can play through an arcade story mode, which implements virtual training segments and skill upgrades. Then there's a single game mode, where you can play whatever event you want without a care about statistics, probably to try and actually learn how to play the game. And multiplayer, so you and your friends can be frustrated by how many controllers you destroy in the process. So what events do you get to participate in? Well, you can do sprints, hurdles, high jumps, diving, freestyle swimming, weightlifting, skeet shooting, chase cycling, hammer throw, kayaking and javelin. There may not be any equestrian, but I can't really complain with a decent list. Now these might sound super fun, and if you're playing with friends it most certainly is. But alone, you realize how repetitive each game can be. In order to win nearly every single game, you have to mash buttons as fast as you possibly can. But to change it up, you might need to aim at a specific meter or let the button go. Or you change it up with diving, for example, where you only perform the allocated prompts. It's really challenging to get everything correct, since the mechanics base the system on luck and non-stop energy. When alone, the games aren't as joyous as you'd want it to be, but I swear with a few friends, it will rival that of any party game. The atmosphere completely changes as you'll be cheering to win, and complaining about how you were ripped off because you didn't tap fast enough.
The game would have been super entertaining during the Olympic Games themselves. But as of now, it's a part of history and a decent part of merchandise for your own Sydney 2000 collection, I guess. Thanks, Game & James. Hopefully you enjoyed this reflection that brought many together and the merchandise that came along the way. Please share some of your own Olympic experiences via email or letter. You're watching KVTV.